Good morning, my beautiful soul followers. I have been up for a little bit, but I am not all cleaned up and make-upped yet. My candlelight conversation, as I like to do every once in a while. So this morning I was reminded of a conversation during my meditation. I was doing this beautiful meditation this morning, and after the meditation, I started really thinking about kind of what came up, and a conversation I had with a friend popped into my mind from a couple days ago, and they were telling me how they were going to go on this trip. They're going to take some time, and they were so excited to get space from their kid. They were so excited. They're like, yeah, I'm going to get some space for my kids. It's going to be great. And then they were like, but I know after I get some space, I'm going to miss them. I'm going to miss them. After a while, I'm going to miss them. I'm going to want them back. I'm going to want to be in their presence once again. And it was a silly, just fun conversation. There was no seriousness to it, but it really got me thinking about the beauty and yet the problem with space. Because as somebody who works with sex and relationships and orgasmic energy, the fact is space is a huge thing. And in my meditation today, that was a huge piece of the meditation was space. Because guess what? There's space in everything we do. There's space down to our atoms. Guess what? There is space in every single atom that we are made up of. Space is so important in our lives. When we get overwhelmed, a lot of times we take space from something. We hear a lot of times if we're working on a goal and we're like working, guess what? We hear, and I tell my clients, take some space from it. Put it aside. Give it space. Give it breathing room. And this is incredibly healthy to take this breathing room. And especially in our relationships, whether it's your kids, whether it's your partner, your best friend, from your cats, I don't care. It's important that we take space. Because if we have no space from things in our lives, they start to smother us. We lose the appreciation. It is very human nature. And you might go, no, I appreciate even if I don't have space. But the fact is, if you really think about trees, this was a beautiful metaphor that I had a grad school teacher years and years ago tell me in my Master's of Counseling program. And it was these two trees standing next to each other. If the trees are on top of each other, guess what? They die. They will die. They cannot survive if they are so entangled. They are so incredibly entangled, they will start to kill each other because they start to steal each other's nutrients. It's not healthy to have no space. However, if you have too much space, guess what? They don't feed each other. Those trees won't feed each other. And the same thing is true in our relationships and with our goals too in general. But let's talk about relationships first. In our relationships, I hear all the time, I need space. I hear this from my clients. And space is a beautiful thing, but too much space, and you lose that connection with that person. You lose the energy flow. You lose the ability to feel that other person. There becomes some blockages, some energy. Guess what? Whenever we put space into anything, something will fill that space. And so in relationships, particularly our romantic relationships, if we put too much space, something else will fill. Something else will fill that space. It is human nature. It's why I tell clients if they're trying to call in their lover, their perfect person, to create space in their lives. Because when we create space, something will fill that space. And so taking a little bit of space from our partner to really get our thoughts in order, to really connect to us is a beautiful practice. amazing, amazing practice because we want to keep coming back to us. We want to keep reconnecting with our hearts, with our souls. We want to keep coming back to who we are. Otherwise, we will get lost in whatever relationship that is. However, if we take too much space, we lose that connection. We lose maybe not the love, but we lose that energy between two people. We lose the ability to really see someone else. Because what we end up doing is we create that person in our mind instead of really feeling that other person. So if you're struggling in your romantic relationship right now, and you're like, I'm going to take some space, there needs to be a time limit. There needs to be a way to come back together. I'm sorry if you hear lots of noise. My cats are having crazy kitty time right now. But there needs to be a time to come back. And guess what? The same is true of your goals, because you might go, okay, but my goals for building that business, writing that book are different than my relationship. But guess what? That's still a relationship. When you take too much space from your goals, you lose the energy of them. You lose that momentum that you've built up. Now, if you take no space, if you are just overwhelming, overthinking, you're taking no space at all to connect with just you and just get quiet within self, then again, you will lose yourself. And so really my message today is to look at your life. Are you taking enough space? Are you giving yourself breathing room? Or are you just like cluttering yourself? Are you cluttering yourself, not giving yourself any space? Or have you taken too much space from things? Do you have this dream or goal or this relationship that you really love, but you've gone, I need space, and then not have that same connection to it? Go tomorrow, yeah, next week I'll connect with them. Or are you somewhere in the middle? I really want you to look at your life. I want you to look at your relationships, your goals, everything, seriously. And look at where you have enough space and where you don't have enough space. Where maybe you've taken too much space and where you're just not taking enough. There's beauty in space. And then at the same time, space can be a very dangerous thing. It can be a very dangerous thing to something that you truly love. So, go within. Connect within. But make sure that you are also connecting with the things that matter to you in this life, that you feel called to. Because taking space can become a coping mechanism. It can be an avoidance mechanism. There's lots of times in my life that I've said, oh, I'm going to work on that project, but right now I just need some space from it. And guess what? I didn't give myself a timeline, and so I never got back to it. I had to, and then when I wanted to get back to it, it was so much more difficult to get back on that horse. Same as in relationships. If you give too much space, when it's time to reconnect, it's much harder. It's much harder. So, time limits. Look at why you're really connecting or disconnecting, why you have space or why you're not giving yourself any space right now. Really ask yourself those questions. And just see, is your space healthy? Or could you use a little bit of a reboot in your space? So what do you really need to reconnect to, and what do you need to maybe take a break from, take a breath from, not even a break, just a breath. Guess what? Space is always available. Even just, that's space. That's taking space from something. So, I hope this got you thinking on this beautiful Monday morning. Go have an amazing rest of your day. Go have an orgasmic day. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean, go have an orgasmic day. Experience your life today, guys. I love you all so much, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon for another Addison Unleashed. Bye.